So welcome to a new Game Stuff episode, and we have a lot of really, absolutely fascinating stuff to get through today. I've been looking forward to doing this one. I've been seeing all the stuff here in the corner, and I'm like, I can't wait to talk about these items here. That is for sure. I now will ask you guys, what have you picked up recently in the way of new game stuff, new merch, new video games, or old video games? Let me know, and everybody else down below. Okay, this very first item I've been waiting for I don't even know how many months, like so many. I ordered it back in February. It showed up about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, they just completely lost my order. I had to write to them and say, hey, where is this? I was like one of the first people to order it. And yes, it was from PlayAsia and not the Square Enix store because they sold out. And that is the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, a physical copy, finally, on the Nintendo Switch. And I gotta say, I'm very excited about this because the one game I haven't gotten to yet, and I will this summer, is Final Fantasy V. And I finished Final Fantasy I in this collection already. I just kind of spent like 7 hours going through that, and I really had a good time with it. Love the Pixel Remasters, really fantastic. It's so nice to have all of the games from my childhood in one collection here, and a couple that we never got officially, back in the olden days, like number 2 and 3. We finally have those. Yes, they came out on 3DS and stuff years later, but one place to rule them all, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Looking forward to Final Fantasy V. Yes, I'm mentioning this one again because I was so excited to get it. Dranus, right here on the Nintendo Switch. I got myself a digital copy, then I bought myself a physical copy. I went to Strictly Limited, and all they had was the special editions. They'd sold out of this. I had to get it off eBay because I had to get this game, because when I saw the footage, I was like, whoa, because Reggie, Radical Reggie was over here. He recommended this game to me, and I started playing it, and I was like, this is really amazing stuff. It's really up my alley. I've really been getting into shooters here, recently, for over the last 6 months, really getting back into them. And I have a few more shooters to go later on as well. But what do you guys think of Dranus? Okay, so I've learned something very valuable about Amazon in Canada here. Don't order a game if you want it day one, on launch day. Because I had this pre-ordered for like 6 months ago, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you're going to get it like 2 weeks after launch. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So I canceled my order, went on to Best Buy. I'm not like preaching for Best Buy here, but I went to Best Buy and I got it day one. And that's Pikmin 4. Finally, Pikmin 4 has shown up here. And I'll be honest with you, this is going to be put into the backlog right away because I'm playing Pikmin 1 right now, and I'm really having a good time with that. And there's going to be a special time for this. There's going to be a time when I'm not playing any games. A little bit of time is going to open up, and it will be the time for Pikmin 4. What do you guys think of Pikmin 4 for any of you who are playing it right now? Is it living up to expectations? I know a lot of friends are loving this game, saying it's the best Pikmin ever. And that's saying something because I really enjoy all the rest. Okay, now this arrived Front Mission first. And a few episodes back, I did a sponsored video. Yeah, go figure. My second sponsored video. I never do sponsored videos, but I did it for Front Mission because I'd already bought the digital copy and I already had pre-ordered this copy for myself. And then the company got in touch with me and they're like, hey, do you want to pimp our game? I'm like, I was going to do it anyways, for sure, because I absolutely love Front Mission from the past. And I think this is a really interesting game, a remaster, remake of the original Super Famicom game. And I think they did a really, really good job. So high recommendations for Front Mission, for sure. Okay, this next game is a huge mystery to me, which suits the game perfectly. The game is called Master Detective Archives Raincode. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. I ordered it here, again, on Amazon. They only had the special edition. And I'm like, I don't know enough of the game to order a special edition of it. I just want to get the Switch version, the small version. That'd be fine. What do you guys know about this game? I just know it's a detective style of story. And that's about all I know. The reviews have been really stellar. Like the reviews, I've just only seen the numbers that they're high. And I'm like, and people I just see them talking about it on Twitter. And they're going on and on about it. And I'm like, I will pick this up. This seems like a fascinating game. It seems like something that the community is talking about. And I listen to the community. So I picked it up on your recommendations. And so we'll see how this turns out. What do you guys think of this game? Master Detective Archives Raincoat. Okay, we're gonna do a 2-for-1 here of some old school shooters that have been brought back to the Nintendo Switch and for other consoles as well. Kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm building up a small shooter collection. You know, you can call them shmups if you want. I call them shooters. I've been building up a small shooter collection on the Switch, and I'm really enjoying collecting shooters on the system, so I'm kind of trying to do that right now. One of them is an old game called Batsagun, and I already opened it up to capture footage for it because there was no trailers online, and I was so happy to put it in this morning, and I'm like, let's put it in and see what this has to offer. Old school beautifulness, vertical style of shooter, and I loved it. I think what it is I spent so many years as a kid playing shooters on the Genesis, on so many systems in the arcades. I have such a fondness, and there's such a comfort zone. As soon as I start playing one, I feel really, this may sound really strange to say, feel really comforted, like I'm in my right place and all of that. So really excited to get this one. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about it, had to pick that up. Okay, let me pronounce this correctly. Ray's Arcade Chronology, right here. Absolutely, had to pick up this. We got Ray Force on here, Ray Storm, Ray Crisis. Great old school shooters as well that look fantastic again, and I can't tell you how much I'm excited collecting all of these shooters on the Switch. And I know they're on other systems as well, but I'm enjoying them on the Switch. It's just something that I'm kind of being quirky about and all of that. But what do you guys think of these shooters? Are you big fans? Let me know. Now, I imported another game from PlayAsia, but we have English in this one as well, and it is Etrian Odyssey Origins 1, 2, and 3, the high definition remasters. Yes, these old school games that are dungeon crawlers, and yeah, they're quite intense. That's basically what you're doing in the game, is just going through dungeons and forest dungeons and such. And you know what? I always wanted to collect these, and I've always been eyeing them. I'm like, I really need to pick these up. And I was like, wait a second. When they announced all of 3 of them in one Switch package, I'm like, this is the way to go. And will I ever get to these games? I don't know. I do have one of the original games for sure. I always like putting them on, going around it, and do a little, couple of hours into it. That's realistically the most amount of time I put into it, but I want to put more time into this. I'm sure there's a lot of Etrian Odyssey fans watching this right now. Are you excited for this game, for these games in one big collection? Let me know. Okay, this next game, I'm just going to show it. Blade Runner, the enhanced version. I picked this up from Limited Run. I don't even know how many months ago I ordered this, probably about a year ago. It feels like that to me. I forget when I pre-ordered it. But this is a big game for me. And the reason why is I'm a huge Blade Runner fan. It's my favorite movie of all time. And my friend up the street had a computer back in the day, in the 90s. And he's like, John, you got to come over and see this point-and-click adventure game I'm playing, Blade Runner. And I went over, and it was kind of like, I know you'll see the graphics now, you're like, what? It was like the future. You'd never seen graphics like that at the time. And I remember I was so jealous of my friend Gary. Yeah, I've been in a bunch of videos with him over the years. I've shown them on the channel. But I was so jealous of him having this experience over his house. But he was nice enough to have me over and really show me about it all. And I was like, oh my God. And I always wanted this to come to consoles, and it finally kind of does all these years later on the Switch. I'm thankful for that. Being a big Blade Runner fan, I found that they really captured the atmosphere of the movie in the game from watching it so well, and so very thrilled to get that. So I had my friend Reggie come over for the weekend, and when he came over, he's like, here, John, I got you something. I'm like, dude, I just want you to come over. I don't want you giving me games. It's like totally okay. I felt like so bad. I'm like, you don't have to give me games. And he's like, no, you want these games. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the English version of Grandia on the Sega Saturn. It's a burned copy of it, but you know what? Very, very nice. English patched, better assets, try it out. There's a little note in there. So I want to thank Reggie for giving me this, and especially in the future, I'm going to get a Polymega and I can try this out because, the Grandia on the Saturn has more frames of animation, and when they made this game, they called it the Final Fantasy Killer. That's what they called it in Japan. It wasn't the Final Fantasy killer that everybody wanted, but it was still a great game. Thank you, Reggie, for this. This is something I will be putting in when I finally get my Poly Mega. And the other game that Reggie gave me was this one, Afterimage. And here's something that I'm going to say. I have no idea what this game is. I have no idea. I've walked in to doing this video. I'm going to look up footage to put over top. I'm sure it'll be pretty cool. And I want to thank Reggie once again for coming up, spending the weekend with me, and just talking video games all weekend, and playing some Street Fighter as well. I just want to thank you for also giving me these games. Very nice of you. But you know what? It was just nice to have you up here. Okay, here's the thing that I'm super, super excited to talk about. Like, I really am. I mean, I've already spent so much time looking at this book. Yes, it's a book here. It's a book here. It is the PC Engine, the box art collection right here by Bitmap Books. I've got to say something. You guys know, for any of you who've watched, I am a massive PC Engine collector. Hands up, right up here. I love collecting for this machine, and this book arrived and I'm like, okay, I can't wait to look at this. I have sat so many nights on my patio, so many nights, flipping through this book, looking at all of the box art for all of the PC Engine games. And I'll say something, for a lot of you out there, you're like, what is the PC Engine? Well, it was a console that came out in Japan, and just around the time, just after the NES, or the Famicom in Japan, it came out, and it swept Japan by storm. It was like a really big deal. We got it as the TurboGrafx out here. Big in Japan, little known system out here. But the one thing we can all agree on, if you like certain games, you don't like certain games, I really love a lot of the games. I will say this, all of the box arts is, God, I can't, do you know, what do I want to say? Because I want to say it's nostalgic, but I just don't want to say that. It is a product of its time, and there is no longer box arts like these. These are all beautiful, hand-painted, pictures for these games. And each one is so unique and tells its own story. I'll be honest with you, a lot of the box arts for a lot of the games I picked up are way better than the games, but they add to the almost the mystique of the games. They are a part of the game in that regard. And I've sat so many nights flipping through this. Nostalgic, yes, but also just admiring the box art of all of these games. I mean, so many of them are so very near and dear to my heart. This is my time. This was my time when I was a young guy, like 16, 17, 18. Up to now, the PC Engine has really meant a lot to me over the years. So this is like my Bible. And I'll tell you, I sat with my phone many nights going, what's this game? Taking a click of it. Some games that I didn't know, and some that I wanted to pick up, and some I want to talk about in the future for sure. I'm like, oh, this looks fascinating. I took so many photos and all that. But what does surprise me is how many games I know in here. I'm flipping through going, oh yeah, Shinobi. Oh yeah, War of the Dead. We covered that on the channel here. Sidearms, great arcade game. I like Silent Debuggers. It came out over here as the TurboGrafx. Look at me. I can just go. Slime World. I've actually got that coming. It's a terrible game. Great Japanese box art. Snatcher, we never got that. Over here, the PC Engine version, TurboGrafx version. We got the Sega CD version. Soldier Blade. Look at me. I could sit and do a whole episode on PC Engine box arts, going through all of them. It'd be like 4 hours long. It'd be ridiculous because I know so much about this time period, almost to a fault. But definitely, if you like the PC Engine, my highest recommendations to pick up this book. It is a work of absolute art, all of these box arts, and it warms my heart. So I can really genuinely say that it was a really great pickup, and one that I'm going to continue to go back to over the years. Okay, this next item here is very interesting because I don't pick up figurines anymore. I used to when I was younger, pick up a figure here and there and display them, and I really kind of like them, but I kind of stopped doing that now. Except for this one figure I saw, I had probably ordered about 8-9 months ago. It showed up maybe about a month ago, and it's been sitting there. I'm like, okay, let's put it into an episode. And this is so cool. I had to pick this up. For any of you who've watched the show for a long time, you'll understand why. I had to pick up, female Terry Bogard right here. Had to pick this up. And from the game, Tag Team Frenzy. Remember that game that came out? The all-female fighting game right there? Look at this character. I had to pick this up. Let's have a look, shall we? Because I normally don't pick up figures. But me and Kim both, cosplay as I is Terry Bogard and she does female Terry Bogard. We both have the jackets made. In fact, we're going to go to an anime convention in Vancouver, I think in about a month's time. And we are both going to wear our outfits. We're going to bring our daughter there and we should have a good time. But here we go. A little risque, but not too bad. Very cool. I just love the star on the back there. Fantastic stuff. I mean, really great stuff. So I can finally take this out and put this up. And I've always liked female Terry Bogard. I think I even did an episode with my reaction when they showed the first female Terry Bogard. Terry Bogard has been a character in my life for so many years since I first saw Fatal Fury, and it just makes sense. And me and Kim are both big fans of that's for sure. Okay, this next little item is just something. Kim was ordering t-shirts online, and I think she went to Fan Gamer or something like that, and she was ordering some shirts. She's like, do you want anything? And I'm like, well, there's one thing I want, and let me say, I don't wear hats, but I saw this hat on there, and I was like, yeah, could you get me this? And she's like, oh yeah. I had to get this, a Shadow Moses Arms Tech Nuclear Disposal Facility hat from Metal Gear, obviously from Shadow Moses on there. And I'm not going to put this hat on. It will annihilate my hair. The heat's already annihilating my hair from the lights going on here. But I saw this and I'm like, when I get to be an old man, I'm going to wear sunglasses and put this on and sit in my porch and go, get off my lawn. Okay, 2 items to go. Wait for the last one. The last one is really, really good. You'll be happy that you stayed hanging around to see it because it's ridiculous. But we got to look at a bit of a stinker one for me. One of those things that you see on eBay late at night and it seems like a good idea and you pick it up and you order it and you're like, this is going to be fantastic. And then it shows up and it's completely not what you thought it was going to be. So again, I've been in a real 1999 mode lately, thinking about 1999 and some games I was into like Ridge Racer and Ace Combat 3, one of my favorite Ace Combats. And I was kind of going down the rabbit hole. I was like, is there any cool merch, out there? And I saw something and I was like, I've got to have this. An art book for Ace Combat 3, Japanese art book. And I saw some of the pages and I was like, this is a must buy. So I'm thinking it's going to be a nice big art book, right? I know, I should know because I know a lot of Japanese guidebooks are this size. It shows up and I gotta say there is some great artwork in it, but it's more of a strategy guide than it is an art book. And but there is some really great stuff in there from the game, so I appreciate it to have that and all of that, but it realistically is more of a strategy guide and all of that. So a bit of a blunder buy, but I'm still a big Ace Combat fan to get this, so it's kind of cool to have, that's for sure. Okay, this caught me off guard. All of a sudden, I got this package out of nowhere showed up, and I'm like, from FedEx, and I'm like, well, I have no anything from FedEx. Like, what is this? I got this, it must be about 3 weeks ago. I gotta say, after I reviewed Final Fantasy XVI, I just want to be clear about that. This showed up from Square Enix out of nowhere. This box shows up. I open it up and I'm like, what is this? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And so I'll open this up for you. This is something really else. Look at this just to show you what's in here. I just gotta say, the wood smells so fantastic. It's like unbelievable. Like that kind of camping wood. That's really, really intense kind of smell going on here. And I think this is just like a piece of parchment with artwork on it and all that. It's yeah, I'm not gonna open that up. That's really nice. But here, you want to be shocked. I'm gonna open this here. I'm gonna take this out and show you. And you're gonna go, what? Okay. Look inside here. I'll save the best for last. Here is a Final Fantasy XVI. You can see kind of there. Final Fantasy 16, a notebook. It's a blank notebook. I've already opened it up, and it's leather bound, and it's really, really cool. Like, really nicely done. Next up is a little piece of artwork here going on. I was talking about what's in here and how to take care of it. This is the main item. Oh my god. So amazing. A Final Fantasy XVI tankard here. You know, I don't drink beer anymore, but this, I can put some other kind of beverage in it. Really nice looking stuff. And I genuinely want to say this. Thank you, Square Enix, because I had no idea they were going to send this out. And I was blown away when it showed up. I was just like, oh my god. I mean, I don't get very many things from companies anymore. Not too many. But when this showed up, I was like, holy, like, I couldn't believe this is a promo item and all that. And I want to say, from companies or anybody out there, nobody influences my reviews. Nobody says, hey, John, we'll send you something in the mail if you talk good about our products. I'll say no to it. You know, I never ever do that unless it's a sponsored video, and I'll always say that the video is sponsored. And I've only done 2 of those in 1,184 episodes in 15 years. So you kind of know where we're at. So nothing gets, influenced here by a tankard sent to me. I got this after I'd finished the game, and I finished that game in under a week. It's still ridiculous and all of that. So guys, that's it. Those are some of the crazy game stuff things that I picked up and came in the mail for sure. What have you guys picked up in the way of new game stuff, new merch, new games, or old games? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.